To pray, there's no angels where I go. Only pieces that are broken, scattered dreams across the floor. I'm home.
Alrighty, hello everybody. This is Kiru's show here. Now, sorry for not posting another video. The fact was, I accidentally fell asleep, and I woke up not too long ago. Anyways, with that being said, let us begin. Whenever we last left off, Inko had found out about the experiments that the doctor was performing on Doria, though she does not know the extent of them. He doesn't have any scars, he doesn't have any, well, mental trauma, or anything like that. In fact, it only seems like he was taking blood. Then again, that does raise the question. What did he do? In fact, she's not too sure herself. We'll need to get information on this. This is when Midoriya was 2, and she's still not too sure as to what to say. As she would have handed over what's left of one of these vials. She does remember that she kept it with some of her belongings, and she had it just in case. Handing it over to the bartender at Deku. Or, yeah, that's right. And at least trying to talk with him, getting more information. As she would go through the whole process of things for a ghoul. She lost her mask, or she had to abandon part of her old identity. And things changed. Now, with that, she has to go get a new one. And she actually does decide on something similar to what she used to go with. Her mask used to cover most of her face, but she did at least have a zipper for her to open her mouth and talk with. She also then had, well, something to cover her hair, only her eyes being visible then. It being a full face mask that allowed her to binge eat whenever she wanted, meaning that she wouldn't need to take it off and expose her face. Now, she would have gotten this one and redesigned it a little bit, putting on extra pieces. And the guy who designs the mask would oblige, doing this and actually asking her about her kid, since he does know she has one. The guy who designs the mask was at least asked if he can design a mask for a child. Inko not really sure if Izuku should get a mask yet, let alone try and do what they do. Her explained to him that they will wait on that, and that a 2-year-old won't be feasting from their own kill. Now, the guy who makes masks would understand, and, well, just say that anytime she needs a mask, then he can make it. In fact, he'll be drawing up some designs for a while, so don't worry about it. That being where, back and forth, things would go a bit normally. Inko doesn't have to murder some of her prey sometimes. In fact, she does get her meat from Deku, and actually somewhat live a normal life, only choosing to go out and hunt whenever she thinks that she needs to, or if their emergency food gets low. And Deku does have only so much meat, and whenever they can't spare some, Inko does at least keep some at home. This going on for the 2 years until Midoriya did turn 4. whenever he finally revealed his Kagune. Whenever he was asleep, he had a bit of a weird nightmare, and he woke up in a cold sweat. His eye manifesting as Kagune ripped through his back, and actually destroyed his blankets, along with actually knocking a few things around the apartments. Inko running in and actually seeing what's going on, as she would have calmed him down. It's a bit iffy, but the way she had to do it, she didn't really like. She had to basically cut Midoriya's Kagune off of his back, directly right by his spine. She tried to be careful with it, but yeah, it was not easy. Afterwards, she basically tried to at least comfort him about his nightmare. Him at least crying while his eye does stay changed. And Inko watching that, as the veins around his right eye do at least start to appear over his nose. Her unsure as to what that means. Think that that's at least weird. And, well, yikes. Now, with that being said, the next day would pass, and Midoriya would be told about that ability. That Kagune, ghouls don't usually manifest at an early age. In fact, as she was trying to explain it basically, saying that that is a very, very important tool, and that you cannot show it off to anyone. Her explained to him that this is not a quirk, and that they need to stay hidden, and being like that will keep them safe. Now, along with that, she would also explain to him that whenever he does eat, he needs to make sure to clean up properly. He can't smell like blood, he can't smell like meat, and her going on the explanations. Trying to get this instilled in Midoriya at an early age. Since her mother died from being sloppy. And now she's trying to clean up her act. She's been on this streak for far too long. And she's tired of it. In fact, she's actually finally taken on some responsibility. And Midoriya would be at school. Quite a lot of people are showing off their quirks. But Midoriya himself, he's not too sure what to say or do. Everyone's talking about how they went to the doctor, but as far as he knows, he's never been to the doctor. In fact, he vaguely remembers the doctor. He just remembers hearing a man in a white coat screaming for his life. Well, he has his ears plugged and just going la 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 as loud as he can. And he gets louder and louder, trying to drown it all out. As the conversation turns to Midoriya, Bakugo sparking explosions in his hands, and asking Midoriya exactly what is his quirk. Does he know what it is? Well, I don't really know. As far as I know, my quirk is, well, geez, spit it out already. Sorry. I'm not too sure. Oh, well, as one of the teachers was saying, that is perfectly alright. In fact, we do believe that even without a quirk, you will be a very, very good man, or a good person. In fact, you might just be like your father. One of the other people actually telling this girl to shush, and don't say that. Doria being confused, as she actually does say she's sorry, and she shouldn't have brought that up. Doria unsure as to what that means, or even what to say about that. actually trying to pry into that, asking exactly how or what about his dad. He doesn't know him. One of the people there actually being a bit more yikes, and actually being very, very straight with Midoriya. Actually saying that his father was a very, very good man, and he wanted to protect people, even though he didn't have a quirk himself. Quite a lot of people hearing that, and about to start judging Midoriya, until they say that he was CCG, and that he was one of the people to keep them safe. Since once you become CCG, you are completely taken off the books for a quirk uses license. Meaning that if you use your abilities, there is a possibility of you getting arrested, unless you're using them to kill ghouls. That is the only thing they can be directed towards. And Midoriya, after hearing this, would be a bit confused. Not really sure what to say. Why would his dad kill ghouls? He is one. I'm just thinking those words, and trying to figure all this out. Now, Midoriya, he's not too sure as to how his dad would kill ghouls. Does this mean that he worked with them or against them? That doesn't make sense. Now, this doesn't have to make sense to him. In fact, he's gonna ask his mom that question whenever he does get home. As Marie gets home, he would do so. Inko immediately getting angry and calling the school. Going down there herself and yelling at one of these teachers. Telling her that he had no right to learn the information. One of the people actually being a bit confused about that. And her just explaining to them that Midoriya is not going to be like his dad. The job took Asashi away from her. And in fact, she's pretty sure it was ghouls that murdered him. So, nothing is going to take away her baby. Not the way it took her husband. Her actually crying a bit in tears. As she would leave. Now, whenever she does get out of school and go down the block, she would wipe away these fake tears. And think for a second. These people, Jesus. Such a simple act, yet she doesn't like doing it. It's at least useful though. You pretend to be a mourning mother, and people somehow find sympathy. It's a little wrong, yeah, but she needs to keep this up. As her stomach does actually grumble. And she thinks, they're out of food, so she's going to have to go hunting. Well, thinking, should she bring Izuku? If she does bring him, then he is going to need a mask. And things might get messy. Kinda choosing against it. He does have his Kagune, but she's not too sure as to what he could do with it. Especially if he is new to it. Deciding to go out and hunt. Now, whenever she does go out and hunt, she would not encounter any heroes. Although she does at least encounter some CCG. Them trying to take her down. And her trying to defend herself. They do at least recognize her. Since there are reports that she might be the binge eater. Or at least files stating that a woman her size and her figure was described as the binge. Now, they would try and talk with her, trying to get information. Inko staying silent and not revealing anything. In fact, when they do try and talk to her, she immediately just pulls the zipper closed and begin to attack. Them being a bit annoyed. That means that she's a smart ghoul. Usually, some of them try and monologue. Some of them try and at least appear more human, so to make them hesitate. This ghoul isn't doing that. In fact, that makes this easier for them. Them trying to take her down and actually attack her, as they get dangerously close to actually killing her. Now, the only thing that does stop them is whenever someone does come flying in, and actually slamming into and smashing one of the guys from the CCG directly into the ground, and then actually pick him up, as they're holding him by his face. The detective turning around and looking horrified at this. And Nico basically just staying there. She takes this opportunity, going to attack one of her parts of her Kagune, throwing out forwards and trying to attack the man. The guy turning back forwards and immediately slicing upwards, cutting it in two pieces as he does try running straight towards Inko, slicing this piece in half. As the ghoul runs forwards, throwing out back his hand and throwing it forwards, as the Kagune around his arm springs to life, jabbing directly into that guy's back, and then yanking him towards him, grabbing him with his other hand. Inko just looking at the ghoul, confused for a second. It's not saying a single word, as it basically does just jump off, jumping to the top of a rooftop and then leaving. Blood raining from the sky, her able to follow the trail. She does want to question that. That ghoul was particularly weird. In fact, she believes that he might be connected to something over in the other wards. That mask, she's seen it. Where? Unsure as to what to say. But she can't really think on that very much, as she does actually take most of the body that she needs and then leaves, and then gets home, and getting Midoriya dinner, him chowing down the meat and eating it. He's been getting hungrier and hungrier. Inko thinks it might be to him growing, but she's not too sure. In fact, she thinks that his appetite is increasing. It's getting closer and closer to her own, even though at her age she was never like that. So, how exactly is this going to affect him? The two sitting down and then watching TV, and going over more things, as they do hear tonight's reports. As soon as the TV was turned on, it was talking about ghouls in the local area, and exactly what the CCG is doing to try and launch their own counterattack against them. Going over these procedures, and talking about how you can spot a ghoul. Saying that they have a unique taste for coffee. Along with that, their eyes, as Inko changes the channel immediately. Midoriya barely picking up that last part, and at least hearing from his mother that they don't need to worry about that. This is going to be fairly easy, okay? Okay, Mom. But I do have a question. What's a ghoul? Inko not really sure what to say. And, well, just explain to him that ghouls, they're like people, but at the same time they're not. Her breaking it down for him, without directly saying that they are ghouls themselves. and Midoriya at least taking that to heart. They're like a version of people that have a quirk that forces them to do odd things, do bad things, but for the right reason. That makes sense. Now, Midoriya does head to his room, and at least try and get some sleep. However, yeah, he can't really fall asleep. He tries to keep thinking, how are ghouls bad? Inherently bad. If they have to do this, then that means that they're just surviving. They can't be bad people, can they? Him sneaking out of his bed and going onto his computer. And he does go to the online tabs. As he does start clearing the All My videos from it and begin to looking at ghouls. And look at videos. And being surprised at what he sees. There are some videos of ghouls attacking and doing things. However, a lot of the videos he sees is from people hiding and facing away from the ghouls. The next video he does see, though, was found footage. A victim. The footage was found on their phone. Apparently the ghoul forgot to smash it. And in fact, one thing does actually catch his eye. It's a video called 5 Years Ago. Or from 5 years ago about a pregnant ghoul. Midoriya kinda surprised. Clicking on the video. And seeing his mom. It was at least a bit odd at first. There's a young couple walking through the mall, having a conversation, before the woman goes into labor. Okay, sure. What's so wrong about this? And then watching his eyes do change. The man immediately picking her up and trying to run through the area with her. Midoriya pausing the video whenever she does approach the camera and look directly at it. It's his mom. Wait, mom is a ghoul? Wait, then I'm a ghoul. Midoriya trying to look into more information and seeing research about ghouls' particular hobbies and taste. Ghouls have to eat people in order to survive. That explains the weird smell that they give off, and why he has trouble sometimes focusing because of it. Then there's the fact that they drink coffee, and their skin and body is more durable, along with their strength enhancements and their speed. Along with... Now, this researcher, he is a CCG member and detective, as he would then pull out his suitcase, saying that at first glance, this appears to be a suitcase. However, ghouls, they are just like that. Clicking down the button and revealing a weapon, specially made, explaining that ghouls do have these particular sacs in their bodies. We believe that through the process of metabolizing our C cells and going on to explain the science behind it, saying that they can form particular matter. They can be a liquid, solid, and then at least in a gas state. Explaining the science behind it, along with at least a diagram being shown about multiple different types. Now, this shocks Midoriya. His mom eventually walking to the room and seeing him looking at this stuff. As the research continues to go on, Inko surprising Midoriya, him turning around and asking a question. What are we? Her unsure as to what to say, as she does actually have her eyes turned, walking forwards. and she would bend down and tell him that they are ghouls. But her father, or your father, was human. It means that you're special. It means that you're unique. And, well, I didn't want to tell you that. Even he didn't. Masashi was a good man. And I loved him. In fact, I met him while he was a detective. Her explaining the story as she reads it to him like a bedtime story. And he does eventually fall asleep. Now, with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed and have an amazing night. Catch you guys in the next part.